Welcome back to the channel, guys, and today we are bringing you a video of the first Premier League review of the season. So for all of the games in the top European leagues of the Bundesliga, Premier League, La Liga and Serie A, we will be doing match day reviews. So after every game we will be bringing you the review of the game. So Premier League week 1 started off at Anfield with the champions Liverpool, who played Bournemouth and managed to get a 4-2 victory with Hugo Ekitike with a goal and assist, and Mo Salah showing his brilliance, but it was Federico Chiesa who came on and grabbed the late goal. And Liverpool in this game looked very, very good going forward, but defensively obviously still some things to work on, with Antoine Semenyo and Bournemouth proving why they were a good team last season. Aston Villa played Newcastle then at 12:30, and this game was expected to be a great one, and I was disappointed after this game. As we know, Newcastle United struggling after not having Alexander Isak, but Newcastle I thought played very, very well in this game and were the better team and deserved to win. Aston Villa, I think, obviously they struggled to sign players with PS Orients, but I think they was like one or two players to bring in this summer to help improve the squad. But ultimately, on paper, before the game, I think both teams probably would have taken a draw. Fulham, Brighton then ended 1-1, and I think that many people had this game as a draw after both teams are quite evenly matched. Brighton were the better team, but Rodrigo Muniz, who looks like he could be moving to Atalanta, did get a goal, but ultimately a pretty mediocre game. Then the new boys, Sunderland at home versus West Ham United, managed to beat a struggling, seemingly Graham Potter team in West Ham 3-0 after 2 goals from set pieces, but also a great finish from Isidore at the end. So for West Ham, I think West Ham, I've seen a lot of people reacting, saying they could be in trouble, etc. I think if they keep Paquetá, I think they will have enough quality to stay in the league. But I think there could be, in the next months or so, questions asked over Graham Potter. And for Sunderland, they looked sharp against West Ham, despite all of the new signings. And then Tottenham Hotspur, Thomas Frank's first competitive home game for Tottenham after the loss in the Super Cup, and they reacted brilliant. I mean, I think many people didn't know what to expect from Burnley, a team who were good defensively, but it's a bad start for Burnley after the strength was defending, but they got absolutely dominated by Tottenham. A new signing, Mohamed Kudus, looked very good, clocking up 2 assists, but also Tottenham looked good with Richarlison having a great impact with 2 good goals from Richarlison on the first game of the season. But let's say if he can keep it up, as we know he has had injury issues. The 5:30 kickoff saw Wolverhampton Wanderers face Manchester City at 5:30, which was an absolute class show by Tijani Reinders, as Manchester City's new system was a high line that they played in. They looked vulnerable in the first half. I think that Wolves won't be happy that they didn't get a goal, but Manchester City nevertheless managed to get the 4-0 win, with Haaland showing why he's the best poacher in world football once again, with that where he doesn't really touch the ball, he doesn't really get involved in the build-up, but he still scores 2 goals, with a goal from Cherki off the bench, who looked sharp when he came on. For Wolves, I think we all thought they would struggle, and I think they showed why against Manchester City. On the Sunday then, Nottingham Forest faced Brentford, and once again another team that people expected to struggle was Brentford, and they really, really did struggle against Nottingham Forest. It was Chris Wood who carried on his form from last season with a great finish. And I think Nottingham Forest once again looked sharp. I mean, maybe they went under the radar a bit before the season, but they did put out a statement, and it was only a consolation Brentford scored, who were a bit better in the second half. But also a player who I'm very intrigued by, Dan Ndoye, managed to score on his debut with a header into the corner, and I think he'll have a very good season at Nottingham Forest. And then we saw Chelsea, who have had a lot of expectations coming into the season, versus Crystal Palace, who are coming off the back of the Community Shield win. And Crystal Palace this season could be a very tough team for the top six to play, as they're very well oiled in the system and a very tough team to beat. I think for Chelsea, they did get a draw, but I think that Chelsea will be where we expect them, is not in a title race with Arsenal, Man City and Liverpool, but the fourth and the best of the rest of the season, as we saw Liverpool struggle and drew against Crystal Palace in the Community Shield. So I don't think it's a disastrous result for Chelsea, and I think they'll show a better account versus West Ham on Friday, but Chelsea did draw, and for Crystal Palace I think it's crucial that they can keep Mark Guay and Eze, but it looks like they're going to struggle to keep at least Eze anyway. And then the main game of the weekend, Manchester United versus Arsenal. And once again, I don't think we really knew what to expect from Manchester United, but they played very, very well with the new signings linking up, while Mbeumo and Mateus Cunha played very well, did Manchester United, and showed a big improvement versus Manchester United. But once again, the goalkeeper issue showed as Arsenal scored from another set piece with Calafiori. And I think for Arsenal, my opinion on the game is that Gyökeres looked dangerous in certain moments. I know there's been a lot of people saying he looked bad, but he did look dangerous. And I think for Arsenal, I think they looked a lot more attacking with the fullbacks, where last season they weren't. But I think on a day where Arsenal played bad, I think it's a very, very good result to get a win. The first game of the season, 1-0 versus Manchester United at Old Trafford. But obviously next week they play Leeds at 5:30, which again they are expected to win. And Manchester United Fulham, so let's wait and see next week. But I do think that with Arsenal there has been some overreaction. And then last night it was Leeds United versus Everton back at Allen Road in the Premier League. And it wasn't a great game, to be fair. I think Leeds actually played better than I expected. And I think ultimately the game probably deserved to end as a draw 0-0 or Leeds to snatch it. But we know Leeds did win it 1-0 with a Nemecha penalty. Was it a penalty? From my opinion, no. But Leeds started off with a win for the same as Sunderland. But we know Everton are missing players in that defence, and you could see it yesterday. So that is it from the Matchday 1 preview of the Premier League. There will be a team of the week out in the Premier League tomorrow, plus also tomorrow there will be a La Liga Matchday 1 review. So thank you for watching, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.